Columbia police need your help finding a missing 21-year-old woman, Samantha Josephson.
They were kind of throwing her a little party for her for getting into law school. She was tired, wanted to go home. She went outside and called her an Uber.
He'd circle, he'd wait. It was almost like a shark circling in the water.
She willingly got in the vehicle because she thought it was her Uber. Drives off, and that's the last time that we could see her on any kind of video.
He has the child locks on, so she cannot open the door, she cannot roll the windows down. They are on and locked.
Well, this was more than a missing person. This was an abduction.
It was a complete panic. My heart dropped to my stomach.
And I just watched that video of her getting in that car easily 100 times prior to going to shift.
He is going to be a black color.
All right, here's the deal, man. I pulled your car over because it matches the suspect. Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here!
I think God had his hand on us that day. There was certainly some divine intervention.
I got him.
Get on, guys.
Get on the ground. Stop moving.
Samantha Josephson's footprints were on the window of Nathaniel Rowland's Impala. This was her cry for help.
Wildly swinging, wildly stabbing, in whatever rage is going on, and there's not a cut on him? How do you accomplish that with this?
Columbia is home to the University of South Carolina.
And for students, the place to be on a Thursday night is a part of town called 5 Points.
Bird Dog Bar is right in the middle of all of it, so when you get close to that 2 a.m. hour, it gets pretty crowded out on the streets with folks looking to get something to eat or catch a ride home.
That's what college senior Samantha Josephson was trying to do, catch a ride home.
She had come down here from Robbinsville, New Jersey. She was about to finish up and was getting ready for graduation in May.
She was getting ready to get into law school, and they were kind of throwing her a little party for getting into law school. She was tired. She wanted to go home, but she didn't want to spoil the party for her friends, so she went outside and called her an Uber.
The ride was confirmed that it was on the way. As she was waiting, she talked to her boyfriend again on the phone.
It seems that when she walked outside, as opposed to taking a right, which is where she was supposed to meet the ride, she took a left.
So they never got synced up together, and eventually the actual Uber driver had to cancel the ride because he could not find her to pick her up. She's still looking for the ride. She doesn't realize that it's been canceled at this point. There were several other ride shares that came by. She walked up to the car, tried to approach it as if it was hers, and then quickly realized it was not hers. She then goes back over to the corner, to the curb, and stands there and continues to wait.
The Uber was supposed to be a dark-colored Dodge, but a dark-colored Chevy Impala is also nearby.
So the Chevy had been driving around 5 Points already. There was video surveillance of the car circling through 5 Points for about the previous 15 minutes or so, and including one time it had driven by about 5 minutes prior.
He'd circle, he'd wait, never engaging with anybody, never stopping to talk to anybody, but just circling the area. It's almost like a shark circling in the water.
She's standing outside alone. The Chevy then does a U-turn about a block away and comes back around, and as he approaches where she's standing, pulls into the parking lot next to where she is.
Samantha looks towards him as if, oh, that's my ride.
He spent a lot of time in search of a victim, and he found somebody that, was vulnerable and obviously confused on, what car was her Uber ride, and took advantage of that.
She had been drinking that night, but she didn't look like she was in any kind of distress or anything. She willingly got in the vehicle because she thought it was her Uber. Drives off, and that's the last time that, we could see her on any kind of video.
The darkened windows made it impossible to see what was happening inside, but the car was driving off in the wrong direction.
So it wouldn't have taken very long for her to recognize he was not driving in the direction of her apartment. He has the child locks on, so she cannot open the door, she cannot roll the windows down. They are on and locked.
Samantha's friends did not call the police until the next day.
They assumed that she had gone somewhere with a friend perhaps and went to bed for the night. When they awoke the next morning and saw that she still was not there, that's when they began to worry and attempted to try to find her. She worked in a local restaurant here in Columbia, and she was due to work that morning and never missed work, was never late for work.
Using a feature on her phone, Samantha's friends tracked where she had gone.
And at some point in time, her phone just stopped tracking.
Then the friends went back to the Bird Dog restaurant and got the surveillance video. Now it was time to call the police.
So it was like 10 hours after she'd been missing.
Well, this was more than a missing person. This was an abduction.
Samantha would call us or text us every day, and she hadn't done so that day.
I actually put out what we call a BOLO, be on the lookout. We couldn't get a license plate. All we could get was that it was a black Impala. That was pretty much all we could get from the video.
Couldn't pinpoint the car owner at that point, but we could say it was a late model Chevy Impala, and we're able to at least narrow the search down a little bit from there.
Time was of the essence to find Samantha as new clues came in, videos of the possible suspect.
He attempted to use her debit card or a credit card multiple times at different banks. 2 times at a Wells Fargo that was in Sumter, South Carolina at an ATM, and 9 times actually at another location about 45 miles from that was actually in the Columbia area.
And then the staff at a Wendy's drive-thru reported they may have seen the suspect in his car, a white sheet covering the headrest and part of the back seat. But there was no sign of Samantha Josephson.
So it was a complete panic. My heart dropped to my stomach. For whatever reason, I knew that I had to get down there.
Samantha's parents, Marcy and Seymour Josephson, headed to South Carolina from their home in New Jersey.
And I would say about maybe 4 hours into the ride, 5 hours into the ride, Officer Odom called me from the Columbia Police Department, and for the second time asked me, what's my ETA? And I hung up the phone, and I just said, this is not good. I said, this is going to end really bad.
There had been an ominous report an hour and a half away from Columbia from the sheriff in the Clarendon County town of New Zion.
It is in the middle of nowhere. 2 hunters had been in the area, were looking for turkey, and just came upon her body.
She was covered in her own blood on her face, her arms, her legs, her feet. There were numerous wounds all over her body.
They called up to our department and requested a picture of her, which came off the video that she was last seen in, so she had all the same clothes that she was found in.
And when we got to the police department, they brought us into a conference room. They really couldn't identify her because of everything that had happened, how bad she was. And they said that we're very confident that this is your daughter.
And then the parents had to tell their other daughter, Sydney, still back in New Jersey.
And that was the hardest call I ever had to make, was telling Sydney that her younger sister was dead. You know, broke our heart. But to hear her drop to the ground screaming and not being there for her hurts. Still does to this day.
I wanted that car.
When Columbia police officer Jeffrey Kraft began his shift, he decided to patrol around the same 5 Points area where Samantha Josephson had disappeared.
And I just circulated that area for hours and hours and hours looking for that car matching that description. And I happened to find it within a couple blocks away from where the incident took place. Temple. It was like 2:30 in the morning. That was the last place I thought I would find him. It's an adrenaline rush, and it took him a couple seconds to pull over, and you can see some movement going on in the car.
Officer Kraft did not know that Samantha's body had already been discovered.
My was hopes to find Samantha Josephson still inside the car. When I approached the car, of course, I smelled the odor of marijuana come from the cars. And then approached him, and his seat was far back. You know, it was unusual.
What's going on, sir? You got your license? You got your license on you? I'm also Kraft, Columbia Police Department K-9.
Oh, no, sir, I don't got a license on me.
You don't have no license on you?
Yes, sir, I lost my license at 12.
Why not? All right, man. Who's smoking the marijuana?
I had smoked some earlier, sir, when I was at home.
All right. All right, man, you have to step on out, man. All right, here's the deal, man. I pulled your car over because it matches the suspect. Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here! Go and run! Hey, I'm gonna release the dog! I can't, I was just gonna see if he'll stop. Bravo Mike wearing a gray sweatpants, gray sweatshirt. Walk him up. Doors blocked, 500 block. Nunez, keep going, he's gonna be on your left.
He outran me, he was fast.
10-4, I'm gonna go back to the car.
And rule of thumb, you really shouldn't leave the car, especially, you know, my thought is, hey, that's where there's evidence inside the car.
And there was a female passenger in the front seat who should know the identity of the driver who ran away.
What's his name? Nate.
Nate, the first clue to the suspect's identity.
Do a probable cause search for the marijuana coming from inside the vehicle, and while searching that vehicle is when I find a set of keys that had a pink keychain, which I thought was odd.
Whose car is this? His car? Does it usually have pink keychain? It's a sister.
Looking for anything that might belong to Samantha, the missing person called an 81 in police jargon.
Hey, do you know what kind of cell phone our 81 has?
You want the one from that was reported today? I haven't heard anything about it.
That's why I stopped it, because it matches the description.
Okay.
I'm finding the girl's cell phone and the girl's keys in the driver's seat.
Yeah, the back wheels match.
Yeah, that's a pink iPhone. Pink keys with a USB drive. They're just good for students.
Right, yeah.
And the keys labeled room.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
And then once we go in the back seat, another officer brought up to my attention saying, hey, you know, we found a bunch of blood in the back seat.
Look at the back seat right here.
There's blood all over his car, man.
Yeah, we're not going to touch anything else. Yeah. Just leave what we got for now.
Makes sense now.
And that's where like, hey, we got a major crime scene here, possible murder, scene of a murder. Let's back up and call our professionals, crime scene Texas.
I got him. I got him.
I got him.
Get on, guys. Get on the ground. Stop moving.
It didn't take long to track down the driver.
Multiple officers came to the area, and they were able to secure him about 2 blocks away from the area where he ran, ultimately.
I'm going to read your rights, sir, all right? The right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against the court of law.
At that point, he wasn't really saying a whole lot and wasn't even saying what his name was.
It's a yes or no answer.
Come on, man. Sit up. Yeah, I know. You're tired after running. I get it. But sit up. Come on, man.
Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you? Yes or no?
He claimed he had the flu, so the officers called EMTs to check him out and then take him in for questioning, soon identified as Nathaniel Rowland, 24 years old.
He was reluctant to provide much information. Initially, he denied having been in 5 Points the night before. He indicated that he had been going to house parties the night before, but he could not provide any specific information about who he was with or what parties he was at or anything of that nature.
And Rowland denied having been anywhere near the town of New Zion, where Samantha's body had been discovered.
Investigators later found out that his parents actually still live, and his family still lives in the New Zion area.
So New Zion is not a big town. It's a small place. It's not some place that you go to unless you're trying to get there. And as you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, that was one of those pieces that was a major piece that just, the place where she's found just happens to be a little, a mile as the crow flies from his family home.
But investigators were scratching their heads over why Rowland, if he was indeed the killer, would have driven right back into the 5 Points area where police were looking for a black Chevy Impala.
Well, that's a great question for a psychiatrist, I guess. For us, better to be lucky than good sometimes. And it's a good thing for us that criminals often make bad decisions, poor decisions. Don't know what was, going through his mind. I think God had his hand on us that day. There was certainly some divine intervention.
But prosecutors knew it was going to take more than divine intervention to build a case against Nathaniel Rowland that would stand up in court.
Good morning and welcome to the Spring 2019 commencement at the University of South Carolina.
It had been only 6 weeks since Samantha was murdered.
Now I'd like to take a moment to recognize and honor the life and the legacy of Samantha Josephson, our cherished 21-year-old senior political science major whose life was tragically taken from us in March. Samantha's family is here with us today, and she'll receive her college degree posthumously directly after this ceremony.
Samantha's parents, Marcy and Seymour Josephson, had been hesitant to send their New Jersey daughter off to a school in the South.
We talked a lot about it because it's completely different than the Northeast. She's a female, she's Jewish.
But at least it seemed safer to them than the big cities of the Northeast.
Everybody was, very gracious and very nice upon meeting them. So yeah, it seemed safe.
We just really wanted her to be happy with whatever she did. She wanted law school, so we were behind her 100%. Just wanted her to be happy.
And her father had told Samantha to use his credit card to call Uber whenever she needed a ride home, to take no chances.
Especially at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I didn't want her walking.
But the surveillance video showed how it went wrong.
Because what the kids told us that they were doing, they would say, "Are you here for Samantha?" So if Samantha said that when she got in the car, he would have said yes, and then they would have taken off. If she said to the driver, or, "What's my name?" and he couldn't respond to it correctly, then she wouldn't get in the car.
But that is not what happened. And now the task for police and prosecutors was to prove that it was Nathaniel Rowland who was behind those windows, not someone who borrowed his car, as he claimed.
Well, the biggest weakness from the outset was that there was no evidence that put Mr. Rowland in the vehicle definitively at the time that Ms. Josephson was in the car. You could put him as the primary driver of the vehicle both before and after. No one saw him get in or out of the vehicle. There was no camera or anything like that that showed his face inside the vehicle.
Nor was it clear whether he was the man trying to use Samantha's debit card at the different ATM machines.
He had a bandana around his head, and he also had the hoodie that he was wearing, he had white drawstrings, and he had on gloves as well. He pulled the drawstrings really tight so you could never see his face.
And the autopsy on Samantha found she had not been sexually assaulted, so no semen to test for DNA, and no DNA that belonged to Nathaniel Rowland anywhere else on her body, including under the fingernails.
He had on multiple layers of clothing, and you're not going to have skin under your fingernails if somebody's clothed.
So the key was going to be what the state police forensics team could find inside the black Chevy Impala. A footprint on the inside of one of the backseat windows, evidence of Samantha's struggles to get free.
They processed it for all manner of forensic evidence, fingerprints, DNA, hair, all those sorts of things, any paperwork that's found in the car.
including an eviction notice written by a female friend of Rowland's.
And ultimately, that led investigators to a residence where Mr. Rowland had been spending time with a lady friend of his at the time.
Her name was Maria Howard, and she had met up with Rowland the morning after Samantha disappeared.
As she's actually driving his car now and he's in the passenger seat, he begins trying to clean the car. He has rubber gloves that he puts on, he's wiping down part of the console, and she sees him grab this knife, or multi-tool as it has been referred to throughout the case, this double-bladed knife that has what appears to be blood on it. He's cleaning that off, and that really raised some suspicions for her. She asked him repeatedly about all of this, and he just told her to mind her own business repeatedly and wouldn't tell her anything else about what occurred.
Then they searched her home, looking for physical evidence to corroborate her story.
And it was in the garbage outside, and where they located a number of valuable items of evidence, to include the knife wrapped up in plastic grocery bags. There was wipes that had been used, paper towels, clothes of his, the clothes that she had seen him wearing for the last couple of days, covered in blood.
And this black leather jacket.
If you look on the black jacket, there are striations that look like nails being dragged down the jacket. And so that would be she scratched the jacket in trying to scratch him. They find a ton of the evidence, and all of this is in her trash. None of it's like laying around her house, really. It's all either hidden or in the trash. And so they're able to collect all of that. When they look in his car and they see that eviction letter, if they'd have just ignored it, the trash people would have picked up the trash and all that evidence would have been gone.
And Maria Howard's account also helped to explain the surveillance video from Wendy's, a white sheet visible over the headrest.
And this is extremely important because you can see Nathaniel Rowland in the driver's seat at the Wendy's drive-thru the morning to afternoon after this happened. And this is crucial because it corroborates what Maria said, that she got into the car and she noticed that there was a sheet draped over the back seat. And that was to cover up essentially the evidence, the blood that came from Samantha Josephson.
So the prosecution knew, as it prepared for trial, that much would depend on Maria Howard's decision to turn on and turn against her friend, Nathaniel Rowland.
It was very tough. She didn't want any part of this. She had nothing to do with what happened to Samantha. I mean, she was afraid for her life and her child's life.
We had to be present at the trial for Samantha. As a family unit, as our friends, we just needed to be there to make sure that he got what he deserved.
We'll proceed now to opening statements from the state.
Solicitor Byron Gibson opened the case for the prosecution.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, March 28th, 2019 was supposed to be a celebration. Samantha Josephson and friends were gathering together as a celebration of life. But what they didn't realize, what they could never have realized, is that the defendant, Nathaniel David Rowland, had his eyes firmly fixed on Samantha Josephson. The evidence will show that after she got into that vehicle, that's the last time that anybody saw her alive.
But the prosecutor knew the jurors would soon hear from the defense about the lack of DNA evidence anywhere on Samantha's body that tied Rowland to the crime.
With all things being considered, the simplest explanation is the truth. We believe that the simple explanation is that Nathaniel David Rowland kidnapped Samantha Josephson. We believe that the simple explanation is that Nathaniel David Rowland murdered Samantha Josephson. After you hear all of the evidence in this case, we'll be asking that you return a verdict of guilty of all counts, because he is indeed guilty in all counts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience.
Alicia Good of the Public Defender's Office presented the defense opening statement.
0. That's the amount of DNA on Samantha Josephson's body that matches Nathaniel Rowland. 0. It's not on her clothing. It's not under her ripped and torn fingernails. It's not on her ankles. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 0 evidence that Nathaniel Rowland was the one that kidnapped and killed Samantha Josephson. Thank you very much.
Maria Howard.
Please have a seat. State your full name and address.
She was crucial to the case. They had to hear from somebody other than cops and analysts. They needed to hear from somebody who had spent some time with Mr. Rowland.
Rowland's girlfriend described how she first wondered what happened to the visor she needed for her work that was missing from the Chevy Impala.
Did you ask him about that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did he tell you?
That it was in the country.
And what did you say to that?
Why would it be in the country?
And what did he tell you?
It had blood on it.
I'm gonna need you to repeat that.
It had blood on it.
He told you that the visor had blood on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ask him, what'd you ask him?
Why would the hat have blood on it?
And what did he tell you? You tell me.
Mind my business.
Mind your business. Did you ask him again?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
Mind my business.
And what, if anything, did you notice about the car at that point?
That it was like dry blood in the car.
Where in the car?
On the dashboard and beside the seats.
And where else did you see blood?
In the back seat.
In the back seat. Was anything else in the back seat?
It was a sheet over the back seat and the back of the driver's seat.
Matching the video of the car at the Wendy's drive-thru.
These are just small things, small details that corroborate previous testimony that are extremely important.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 13 and ask if you recognize that.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
The thing that he was cleaning.
The knife that had both his and Samantha's DNA on it.
And when you saw his car, I believe you said earlier you saw his car at some point on the news.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe you said you put 2 and 2 together.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you again explain to the jury why you didn't call the police then?
Because I was scared.
Scared of what?
For my life and my child.
No further questions, Your Honor. She had to come in and testify about what was probably the most horrendous 2 days of her life. And she did it.
She paid the price then afterwards of having death threats and being put into bad situations, losing her job because she couldn't go back to work because of the death threats.
We owe a lot to her for testifying.
The prosecution had played long stretches of the surveillance video showing the black Chevy Impala that night, but it was impossible to see who the driver was.
They called Oshamer Williams.
You swear or affirm the testimony for the witness gives you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes, ma'am.
But now detectives had turned up a witness, Oshamer Williams, who ran a cell phone repair shop. His store's cameras showed a man who had tried to sell Samantha's cell phone the morning after she disappeared.
Do you see the person who tried to sell you the phone in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is he?
Yeah, right now.
What does he have on?
The blue shirt, tie.
Please let the record reflect that he has identified the defendant, Your Honor.
It does.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You, sir, may step down.
The final days of the trial focused on the physical evidence.
This is State's Exhibit 186, the bra.
There were times where I had to put my head down because I didn't want to see certain things that they were showing. We had in our mind what had happened, but it was a lot worse.
Yeah.
Going through the trial was very difficult, definitely.
So this is the left shoe. This strap is still intact. However, it was not attached to the front of her left foot.
Made it 110% worse because of all the information and how brutal it was.
But on cross-examination, the crime scene investigator was asked about the photos she took of Rowland after his arrest. Was there any evidence he had been involved in a violent struggle?
You don't see anything on him, right?
In what terms?
On his face, as far as scratches?
As far as scratches, no, I do not.
You don't see any marks?
I do not see any marks on his
Cuts?
face. I do not see cuts on his face.
Same thing with the arms?
Same thing.
Both sides?
Correct.
And his hands? Both
Yeah,
sides?
correct.
Thank you very much.
The defense had made its most important point, and Nathaniel Rowland's lawyers decided they did not need to call any of their own witnesses, did not need to put on their own case.
All of the evidence. It's now time for closing arguments. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, 21-year-old Samantha Josephson did not deserve this. Samantha Josephson's blood was on everything. It was all over that car, the back seats, the headrests, and let's not forget that her blood was on the blade of this weapon, the one that he was seen cleaning in the car. Samantha Josephson's footprints were on the window of Nathaniel Rowland's Impala. The inside. This was her cry for help. This was her way to try to get somebody to help her and save her from him. But it also, what it did, she left a trail. She left her own trail of evidence. Her own trail leading right to the defendant. I told you before, Samantha's whole life was right there. It was right there in front of her. She could have been anything that she wanted to be. And it was right there for the taking to do whatever she wanted. The defendant did the taking. He took her from 5 points. He took her life.
Good morning.
Rowland's lawyer, Tracy Pinnock, pointed to the lack of evidence.
Nathaniel Rowland did not have a mark on him. Not a cut, not a bruise. They checked him, and nothing. Now, how, in the backseat of a car, in the dark, with a young woman who is fighting for her life, somebody is supposed to hold this tool with a blade literally pointed in their direction and not injure themselves in some way? How somebody does that is beyond me. It's this long when it's together. Y'all look. Let's try it again. Look at it. Wildly swinging, wildly stabbing, in whatever rage is going on, and there's not a cut on him? How do you accomplish that? With this. She put up a fight, and Nathaniel Rowland had not a mark on him. That is what we know. They've created a narrative, and he's the villain in their narrative. Because for them, he is the easy answer. He is the simple answer. In this case, it's the wrong answer. It is the wrong answer. The state has not proven that Nathaniel Rowland kidnapped Samantha Josephson. They have not proven that he has killed her, and they have not proven that he had a weapon during those crimes. What they prove is that he tried to sell her cell phone. He's not on trial for that. They have failed at meeting their burden. I ask that you find him not guilty. Thank you.
The jury came back after 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Have you reached a verdict?
Yes, sir, we have.
Is it unanimous?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, if you will pass it up, please, and you may be seated. Madam Clerk, you may publish the verdicts.
State of South Carolina versus Nathaniel David Rowland. It's an indictment for murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
The court moved immediately to the sentencing phase, and Samantha's parents and her older sister Sydney finally had the opportunity to voice their anguish.
Nothing will replace her. Nothing I can say will bring her back. And nothing that I can say I know will ease my family's pain and heartache.
No time to say goodbye. No time to tell Sammy all the things I would have wanted to say. No time to kiss her Kevla. We were thrown into this world of terror. My world is now incomplete. Nothing but memories can fill the emptiness of Sammy's passing. He is pure evil. I pray that he feels Samantha's pain.
But the prosecution had already decided not to seek the death penalty for Rowland, and the family reluctantly agreed.
I fought for it up to the last month. I wanted the death penalty. I wanted him executed.
Do I tell you that I've contemplated suicide? Several times over the past 28 months.
I did stop a couple times to look at him and to make sure that he knew that I was talking about him.
Okay. He, the monster, has stolen this bright light, this enthusiasm of life out of me. In the end, you have taken my baby away. Judge, I only wish we could inflict the same or more pain he inflicted upon Sammy. Please, I beg you, please, give him life and never see the light.
The defense called Rowland's mother, Loretta, to speak for him.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state have accused our son of a crime that he didn't commit.
Ma'am, I'm not going to hear any claim of innocence.
Okay.
He's been convicted by the jury.
Okay. He's a very caring young man. I know my son didn't do this.
He is guilty of murder. And if you had any testimony that you wanted to give for the jury to consider, the trial was the time to do that. I'm not listening to any claim of what he did not do. You are not a witness.
But he's a loving child. He's a good person, very respectful, and respect others. And I thank the court.
Thank you. If the defendant will come before the court for sentencing, is there anything you would like to say?
Your Honor, I know I'm innocent. But I guess what I know and what I think really doesn't matter. I just wish the state would have done more in finding out who the actual person was, instead of being satisfied with detaining me and proving my guilt. I feel like if they would have done further research in certain areas, that's all, Your Honor.
I have dealt with the heartless, and you fall into that category. A person without any remorse whatsoever. And for whomever asked me for leniency, yeah, that's not part of my DNA. The sentence in this case is easy. though painful it may be. The sentence of the court for murder is that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for life. So thanks to all. If you remove Mr. Rowley from the courtroom.
Since then, the Josephsons have launched a campaign so that what happened to Samantha when she got in the wrong car that night does not happen to anyone else.
If she said to the driver, you know, what's my name, and he couldn't respond to it correctly, then she wouldn't get in the car.
Once you're in the car, it's too late. We started the What's My Name Foundation,
hoping their daughter's legacy will be one that saves lives.
Class of 2019, on the count of 3, would you join me in repeating, what's my name? My name is Samantha Josephson, all together. 1, 2, 3. What's my name? My name is Samantha Josephson. Thank you, everybody.